Hello and welcome. Today I'm asking the perennial question, does size matter? Okay, I can hear the groans from here. Not that old chestnut, what is she thinking? Can't she find something new to talk about? But anyway, I'm going to ask the question nonetheless. In case you were worried, I haven't pivoted into writing porn, although I'm certainly not averse to a bit of decent innuendo to keep things spicy. On the contrary, I'm responsibly reporting one of the sporting highlights of the year that's about to hit our screens, or at least some screens somewhere. In fact, I'm actually confident I'm going to be recognised in the top sports journalism awards this year due to the calibre and depth of my research. So, let's start. Forget Royal Ascot, forget the FA Cup, forget Formula One. I give you the US National Bubble Blowing Championships, sponsored, fittingly, by Big League 2. I kid you not, this is the real thing. And although bubble blowing might seem childish in the extreme, believe it or not, the blowing circuit, as it were, is not just for kids. Phew, I know like me you wouldn't want kids blowing anything except bubbles or an exam here or there. Seriously though, I'd never heard about this sport, but apparently it's been bubbling away for decades. Although casual small-scale contests have been held at local fairs, youth clubs, places like youth clubs and American Legion picnics since as early as the late 40s, where any old Joe Blow could have a go. 1975 was actually the year when it ballooned into a formal, organised, regulated and televised sport with the inaugural Joe Gargiola Bazooka Big League Bubble Blowing Championships. If you can say that after 2 gins, you're a better person than I reckon I am. Anyway, the event was created and sponsored by Topps Chewing Gum Inc., who still make the Bazooka gum brand, and at that time it had its signature baseball cards that kids collected. So sponsoring an event for the chewing community, I'm a brand specialist in case you'd missed that, but sponsoring an event for the chewing community featuring their own product was a wonderful promo campaign, you'd have to say, especially as it featured Major League Baseball MLB players competing against each other. There were entries from every MLB club except 2, the Pirates and the Tigers, who are apparently in the middle of nightmare losing streaks, sulking somewhere in the background and couldn't see the opportunity to blow off some steam. Sorry, I couldn't resist it. But MLB base umpires were invited to be the official judges, and special calipers were designed to measure bubble diameters without popping them. Kurt Bevacqua from the Milwaukee Brewers won the first championship in 1975 by blowing a whopping 18.25 inch, that's 46.3 centimetres, globe of synthetic unburst glory. It makes me laugh. Imagine all those big beefy athletes lining up to blow and hope not to blow up or just end up as a by-blow. It blows me away. Anyway, the bubblegum champs have been described as an athletic spectacle. They're perhaps not what they were, because they're now just open to the general public. No stars involved that I'm aware of. But I think an athletic spectacle, perhaps that's a little overblown. You might even call it sport inflation. Call me pedantic, call me picky. But setting my cynicism aside for a moment, it does seem like the modern champs are treated with the gravitas of any other legitimate sporting event, including with professional commentary, officially sanctioned tournament-compliant measurement calipers, and great big trophies. The champs are hosted and filmed at the Riverside Events venue in Trenton, Michigan, and the high-energy spectacles filmed for broadcast by ESPN. So as the organisers put it on the bill, finalists chew, they blow, they pray it doesn't pop too soon, the biggest wins, the rest go home sticky and dejected. So unlike some sporting codes, and trust me, I know my sporting codes, I've commented on the rules of rugby and cricket amongst others. The rules are an absolute dawdle, which makes it very simple for anyone to play or follow. Basically, the person who blows the biggest and best bubble takes the glitzy trophy and $400 US in cash home. I'd have to say $400 in cash seems a little paltry compared with the $10,000 available to the winner in 1975, and that's worth a cool $72,000 in today's money. But what price? Globular, sticky glory. In any case, whatever anyone claims otherwise, Size clearly does matter, at least in this context. I mean, let's face it, everyone wants to do better than a little squirter, but you need a lot of saliva to get over 5 inches, at least I'm told. No big bangs here, please. But the competition is split into 2 divisions: youth, ages 10 to 17, and adults over 17. So here's the blow-by-blow account. Perhaps competitors, or perhaps blowhards would be a better name, as they seem to like the spotlight, have appropriate handles. Their circuit crowd pleasers like Chewy and Miss Gummy, they line up alongside local neighbourhood legends like Blow-Manowski, good one, and Lady G. It's a sport, and I concede the status grudgingly, that lends itself to double entendre, and the tech commentators have a field day. Lady G's been blowing for a while. She needs a bit more moisture on that. A bit lacking in the saliva department. You don't need that. You need that if you're going to blow a big one. He's got some stuck on his upper lip. Used all her spit on the first blow. Blowing a bit dry today. You get the picture. But it all ends up with a mighty great blow-off. So the grand final is actually known as the blow-off. Of course it is. And last year's championships was locked down with a winning bubble of 9.5 inches. I think that's a little bit of a disappointment given the monster 18.25-incher Kurt Bevacqua blew to win in 1975. So I'm wondering, did the ingredients of bubblegum, were they subject to deflation and they don't perform to the same standard? Or perhaps there's just less bubbling talent around these days. Whatever. If you don't believe this is for real, you can watch last year's Big League 2 National Championship broadcast on YouTube. It's priceless. It's had thousands of views, so there's clearly still a dedicated following, and it's a long way away from blowing up as a sport. Only in the USA, you'd have to say.